Welcome back to Hold the Phone, your one-stop shop for all your Call Me Mother content. My name's Jack, and this week's episode was so good. These past 2 weeks especially, I think, have been giving us some of the best episodes and the best showcase for the show in general. On other drag competition shows, I think that the roast episodes are some of the best, and we're getting a roast episode this week, and I could not be more happy. I just think that comedy is so hard to pull off, and especially when you're a drag queen, it's something that you really need to kind of know and be really quick at. So if there's gonna be a drag show about mentorship, I'm glad they're doing a comedy challenge, and I'm glad that it was such a good episode and they gave a lot of good advice. Before we get into that though, they did have a mini challenge where they had to style wigs, and I just want to talk about two people really quick. Two people that really keep the show running that I haven't talked about yet are Lucinda and Wig Zaddy. They're two that are behind the scenes doing all the wigs, all the designing, and they're basically keeping everything together, and I really just want to give them a shout out because they do an amazing job. They're also really great personalities. We see them basically every episode, and every time I see them, I just have a big smile on my face. As for the challenge, they have to design these wigs, and I think that a lot of them did a good job. I did like Jessie's the best, even if it did look like she just rolled around in a forest. It was like a strategic rolling around in a forest, if that makes sense. The category for this runway is Not My Drag, and I think that is an amazing category that I wish they would do on other drag competition shows. It gives people like a pre-planned chance to step out of the box where they may be too scared for other runways, and it's a good point to do it in the season because I feel like we know these people super well and we know their brand. So to now switch it up on us, it gives us a good tell of who is able to like recognize what their brand is and still be able to flip it into something really good. And I just think that the runways each week are getting better and better. I love the social media one from last week, and this week I think they all knocked it out of the park. Right before the runway, each of the artists got a run through with the mentors and special guest Toddy, the winner of season 1. I was so happy to see Toddy back because they give some of the best critiques of the episode, and they're just such a fun personality. What I noticed is that a lot of the competitors this time around were not very confident with the roast at all. I mean, it is a very hard challenge in general, but the guidance of Landon, Farrah, and Toddy really helped all of them be able to perform super well in the end. It's clear that with this run through, Phoenix is the one that seems to be struggling the most. It seems like she just doesn't know how to word the jokes or kind of know where to take it too far and where to like kind of pull back. And again, that's a very hard thing to do with a roast, and I completely relate to that. Someone else that I really relate to is Weeby. I think Weeby had some of the best jokes, but something that I fall into when I'm on stage performing is kind of falling into this comfortability where I just kind of recite it the same way every single time. So that's what I saw Weeby doing, and that's the critique that she got, so I just completely relate to that, and even in the end, she did pretty great. This was one of my favorite moments of the episode because again, I love the mentorship on the show, and I think all of them were just getting such good advice. Moving on to the runway, because we're down to a top 7, it's just a lot easier to talk about every single one, and every single one was really great. Starting off with Pepper, again, she's always selling it. She's always doing such a great job. I do agree with Landon's critique, at least from the edit that we saw. Her makeup looked amazing, but the hair was just in the way a little too much. I know she was going for like the Grudge Samara moment, but I just wish she just pulled it back once so we could see the amazing mug. This was definitely a lot more monster, so I definitely see her being out of her comfort zone, and anyway, she did a good job. Weeby's up next. I love this look. I will say I think it's gorgeous. I love the color red on Weeby, you know, like double redhead, it's great. I just didn't really get the whole concept. Like, I get that she isn't a huge fan of pageants, so that's why she wanted to do pageant, but then she's also not a huge fan of Christmas, so she decided to combine that. It just didn't really like come through in the outfit. And that's not a bad thing again. I think this is one of the most gorgeous things she's worn on the runway. I think that just combining both of those concepts kind of took away from what she wanted to do instead of adding to it. But overall, I can't really complain because she does look gorgeous. Je ne sais pas is up next. I love the concept. I love the look. I just love everything about it. I agree with the judges when they said that the presentation could be a little more doll-like, but aside from that, I think everything else with the performance was really great. I love the way it looked. I love how she played into the masculine side of things, which she was trying to avoid before. It was just really well fitted. The makeup was great. Just 10 out of 10 from me. Up next, we have Justin or Justine, and oh my god, this dress is beautiful. Over the past couple weeks, I think Justin has been serving such amazing looks on the runway, and this is no exception. I think it's a pretty bold choice going full femme as a drag king, especially since it feels like Justin really leans into that mask side. So this by far was stepping out of the box most, and he just looks gorgeous. Up Up next, we have Michaela in this Furby look. It's so cute. It is so cute. I do get what the judges were saying about how it was still showing a sexy side of herself, even if she was a giant fluffy Furby. The other one that she showed, I think would have been really interesting, the weird alien moment. I think that would have been really cool, but I do understand why she went with this one. And next, we have Phoenix, who I think I have slightly a similar critique for, but not completely. She said in a confessional that the makeup really pulls all the look together, and that's completely right. I think the outfit itself is something that we could see her wearing in another runway, but the makeup does really pull it all together. It's a lot more monster, and she just looks amazing. And finally, we have Jessie. I love it, I love it, I love it. The presentation's really great. I think that every single detailing is perfect for the concept she was going for. It's definitely really out of the box for her, and I think she just took that and ran with it and really enjoyed herself, which is the most important thing. And now we move on to the roast performance, which overall I think was really great. For roasts and comedy, I try to avoid the cringe. The cringe just hurts, and I think that some other drag shows kind of put that in there. But Call Me Mother, the way they edit, it tries to be a lot more positive, and they don't really bury anyone. So we heard the best jokes of the night, and if people messed up a little bit, we saw that a little bit, but not too much. I feel like Phoenix was the one who struggled the most, but again, the way they edited it, I think that Phoenix had some great jokes, and it wasn't bad by any means. I think Jessie was the strongest of the night. She had the top score of the night. It was just kind of Jessie's episode in general. There were some really great jokes, some jokes that hit super hard. I think from the start, she knew she was gonna do super well. Back in the run-through, Toddy told Pepper to drop the character maybe, but Pepper ended up still going through with the character, and it honestly worked to her benefit. She was another one that I really enjoyed tonight. A lot of the time, I feel like characters in a roast can sort of be like a shield, and I think that's what she was going in with, but by the time it got to the actual performance, I think it ended up meshing super well, and we got a good taste of both Pepper and the character. Again, like I was talking about earlier, I think that Weeby was a little monologue-y, but I think the jokes were just really great. Jenna also had some of the strongest jokes of the night. I think she was a little reserved, but the judges ended up loving it, so it didn't really matter. The judges' critiques about Justin being super chill and just very easy to laugh with, I do agree with too. He just seems super comfortable up there, and even if the jokes weren't the funniest, I think that can take you super far in a roast. And finally, Michaela, I do wish the set was longer like Farrah was saying, but overall, she was the most improved, and I think she did have some good jokes. This is the first episode where a mother isn't the one eliminating someone from their house. Instead, it's based off of the score. I really like this format switch. I think it's a good point to do it in the season. To me, the most shocking thing was that the top score and the bottom score were from the same house who had the high score in the previous category. Jessie had the top score, I think rightfully so. Extremely strong night for her. And unfortunately, the artist with the lowest score who was sent home was Phoenix. Phoenix has been super fun to watch over the course of the season. Amazing performer, amazing aesthetic, and I really want to see more from them. We're down to a top 6. I have really fallen in love with all of these performers. I'm just watching out for all of them at this point. Next week, they're working in pairs on a performance, and I think this is going to be a very interesting challenge. Thank you guys for watching. You know the drill. New video Sunday, and next Friday we have the next Hold the Phone. And I'll see you soon with another video.